Hey everyone. Today we're taking a look at the newly released PlayStation Aim VR controller. It's a bit reminiscent of the PlayStation 3 Move sharpshooter, but it is pretty much an evolution in every regard. Alright guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about the PlayStation VR Aim controller today. It is a recently launched accessory. It's actually the first party accessory from Sony, and well, I guess you could consider the Sony Platinum headsets accessory as well, but they're not really a peripheral, they're more just a part of the experience. So we're going to go into a little bit of the details about this, how it functions in terms of the accuracy and the overall kind of build, and I guess a little bit about the integration to the game. But the main focus is going to be to talk about how this is a platform for new games. Alright, so let's get a quick unboxing out of the way. For the AIM controller bundle, you will get just the gun peripheral and the game. You will obviously want to have a VR and the camera that is used to run the VR. And then, one of the things that they claim about this is that it has a very accurate and intuitive control system. We'll get into that a little bit later and talk about some of the small gripes that I have with it. So in the package, pretty basic. You just get the game, and then you get a very well packaged and sealed gun. So just as a little bit of a demonstration, here we have a share button. There's a little joystick here, joypad. On the other side, you'll see the options button. Then you have, on the back side here, you have an L1 and an L2. On the right here, right of the trigger, you got the R1, and you got the trigger. Has a pretty good feel to it. You have another R1 on this side. You have the PlayStation logo right here, which is kind of like the on-off button, or the toggle. And then there's another button here that's unlabeled. If I'm looking at these buttons, it looks like R2 is missing, so maybe this is mapped to R2, but we'll see in a bit. And then on the back here, which I think is kind of cool, it's got another joypad. Clicks too. Both of these click. And then right here we have X, square, triangle, circle. And if we flip it over down to the back here, it looks like there's a little kind of hole for one of those loops if you want to like tie it to your hand or something. And then flipping further down here, we have the micro USB. And that is about it in terms of buttons. So I'll provide a description and link, but the folks at fictive.com did do a teardown of the Move controller, and turns out it does have a pretty sizable 1000 milliamp hour battery, which should provide a decent amount of runtime. Getting into the gameplay a little bit, it is definitely useful to calibrate it every time and make sure that your height settings or whatnot are set correctly. The tracking is, I'll say it's pretty good. If you're coming from a PC virtual reality system, then it's not going to be the same, but for what it is, it's pretty great. There's some cool features, like you can cock back to switch guns and stuff like that. Here we can see my roommate playing a little bit, and you can see in some of these scenes he's a little bit off center. And surprisingly, the tracking is pretty decent when that happens. If you get a little bit too off-center, then it does go awry, but that's to be expected. So I did find that it does cause a little bit of dizziness, not really motion sickness, but in that case I would recommend sitting down when you're playing. The only downside I would say is that because it is ambidextrous, it doesn't really conform to your hand super well, so I always feel like my hand's coming like that, where my wrist is a little locked up a little, but you kind of get used to it. It's not something you notice too much. Because of the ambidextrous design, they couldn't really shift it one way, because then, if you use it this way, it would be kind of imbalanced. I think the Farpoint bundle itself is a pretty great entry point into it. The controller comes in at a cheap price. I think I bought it for like 79 bucks when I pre-ordered it, but Amazon gave some sort of rebate discount and it ended up being like 60 bucks for, you know, the game, the controller. So can't really beat that. So guys, those are my thoughts on the PlayStation Aim VR controller. Really think it was a missed opportunity between the developers of the Farpoint game and PlayStation to have the 3D surround integrated. I mean, the game itself is very immersive, but it really would have been an opportunity in a game where you can actually move around and shift your kind of field of view and your frame of reference to test out that 3D audio. But you know, hopefully we can see a lot more games come out supporting this and also supporting 3D audio. It would kind of take it to the next level. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that happens. So yeah, guys, I'll leave a link to this in the description. You know, please comment if you have any questions, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.